Hello again, beautiful
Good.
people. We're here for part 3 of the interview with Barbara Walters with our wonderful channeler, Jennifer Doran, and my son, Erik. Erik, you chime in and help as much as you can. And of course, we have Barbara. Thank you so much for staying for the last
Yes.
few little questions.
Yeah, she just makes a joke about being like not liking being on this side of the
Oh, yeah, it's your turn
the
now.
interview.
Let's
Just
square
yeah, just like kind of
play.
like joking.
Yeah, I know. All right. What was your opinion, Barbara Walters, of Betty White, my favorite people? And what was the experience like for you interviewing? Apparently, you interviewed her several times.
Yeah. So she just really said, how can you not like her?
Yeah,
How could you really not like her?
impossible.
She's funny, she's smart, she's kind, so it's
She loves dogs.
that's
So there you go.
yes. Yes, and that's just how could you not like her, even if you didn't like everything she did, or she was a genuinely decent person.
So rare nowadays. All right. Out of all the
Yeah.
well-known people you interviewed, who was untruthful, the most untruthful when answering your questions? At least from what you think.
This would be a couple of the presidents, or
Oh,
the politicians in general. She said the politicians
a
would have
president?
been.
President
um
Clinton, President Reagan, President Trump. I don't know if you interviewed him. President Biden,
I,
George W, George H.W. Any of those?
so she was. Did she ever interview Clinton? I feel like I'm in that
Oh
in
yeah,
that time.
Clinton. Yes, yes. I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
All
This
right.
is this is
All right. Here.
sorry. This is the one she's saying was one of the, they finesse around
Yeah.
the truth a
Tiptoeing around
bit.
the truth without actually bald faced lying. Although he probably,
Yes.
I have
Yeah.
not had sexual relations with that woman.
Yes.
All right. So let me go on. I'd like to ask about your interview with Dolly Parton. I love her too. She's right up there for me with Betty White.
Yeah, with
Did you
yeah, with
prepare
Betty
these
White.
questions yourself?
So she's saying, yeah, she did prepare some of them. She said
Okay.
sometimes some of her, people that she cared about, when they would, friends, family, whatever, when they would find out they were interviewing, sometimes people would give her questions like, "Hey, can
Oh,
you can
yeah.
you ask me this?" Not like all the time, but yeah, yeah. But she did prepare a lot of her own questions, is what she's saying.
Did
Not
you
all, but
did you regret asking certain questions?
so she's very funny, because what she's saying is that when she was here, she was very good at compartmentalizing,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
like as far as like not really regretting. Um,
But hey, this is
Looking
what the
back,
people want. These are the answers people want. The public wants.
yes.
Okay.
And again, she goes back to the whole thing. Nobody ever sat in the chair across from me thinking I was going to go easy on them.
Yeah.
You always knew there was going to be, she said, this always knew there was going to be a turn in the interview, I guess. I don't
There
know if
always
she would
was. Yeah.
start out
Just
easy
start
and then.
nice and then boom, attack.
Mhm. Yeah.
What were your perceptions of Dolly before and then after the interview? In other words, what did you learn from that interview?
She said I had more respect for her after. I, I
Mm,
don't I don't really feel like she really knew her that well
okay.
before the interview, or so
Yeah.
she a lot smarter than she was expecting. I don't
Mm,
know how this interview went, but just a lot more respect for her. And again, yes, very nice person.
yeah.
Genuine.
Awesome.
It's not always easy to meet genuine people, she says, in that industry, but Betty White, Dolly Parton, very genuine people.
Well, I can understand why you might think that you saw her intelligence through that interview because that Southern accent, and I have a Southern accent to Texas accent too, but it just knocks off 20 points off your IQ from the get go. I mean, swear to God, if you have a neurosurgeon that may be really good and he comes up to you and says, well, let's see now, we're going to saw off the top of your head. It makes,
it
I mean, for some
it
reason, it's a
can.
perception of ignorance. and lack of education.
Yeah, it
It's really
is.
not true.
That is weird. It's not true, but I don't know.
Just
That
like a New
really
York
is still.
accent makes people think that you're mean or aggressive, or I mean, some people, not me, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What news story affected you the most, Miss Walters?
What news
News.
story?
Yeah. It could be like
She's taking me to some kind of like war type stuff, or
yeah.
I'm sorry, this is why I don't do the famous people stuff, because I just don't know enough. But I feel like something with Syria or something
Okay.
like that.
Oh,
she's
like
showing
the
me
genocide in Syria.
yeah, and like
Yes.
the refugees like having to like
Oh yeah.
flee, like this kind of stuff.
Probably more than one. There's so much
Yeah.
so many episodes of genocide throughout Africa, and other places, and so I'm sure those affected you, right? So you're talking about genocide news stories, basically.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. And there's some like past life thing for her, so those she says kind of always hit her. But again, there was sometimes this feeling of like, she says, doing what I did, I had to ignore a lot of stuff. Like,
yeah,
I couldn't let it, bring me down.
Heart.
So
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Would like to know if there are any stories assignments that you regret being a part of, and if so, which one?
Are there any story assignments that she regrets being a part of? I'll say this. There is this feeling of having sort of the mentality of you don't regret things, you just learn from them and you grow from them.
Good. Okay.
And not necessarily dwelling and wallowing in these sort of things. I mean, yes, she said, you can look back on things that you've done and wish that maybe you hadn't done them, or think, oh, well, now I would never do that now, or I've learned from that, without like living in a regret of it.
Right.
And there's very much this feeling of her just keep moving forward rather than wallow in the past, which it sounds like September 5th, she was a Virgo, which is not really the nature of the Virgo. They do like to wallow, but she's saying just like, you got to keep moving forward. You got to keep moving forward. You can't just let it drag you down. If you felt bad about everything that you did, if you regretted all these things, then you can't move forward. And she said that in general, that's
part
like,
of
if you were somebody, if you're somebody living with regrets there right now, like watching this, look back and try to just say, how can I learn? How have I changed? How have I improved what it is I regret? And then let go of that regret. It just doesn't serve you to carry it.
Yeah. All right, just 5 more questions, I think, or 6. Do you have any regrets in general? Most people, when they're on the other side, say no, but I don't know.
No, no. And I will say this: she keeps telling me that for some of the people she interviewed, she would tell them, this isn't going to be a walk in the park. This isn't going to be. Again, people would have known, because if you knew anything about her, you knew that there was going to be that turn in the interview. But sometimes she, would get to talk to them before and just say, like, we're doing this because she did believe that sometimes exposing this other side of people actually helped their career.
Absolutely. Yeah. People want to
humanize
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Your adopted daughter was a very troubled young person. Do you think it's because you didn't spend enough time with her, or maybe she had a mental illness?
She says nature and nurture. Yes.
Okay. All right. And I didn't know this, but you didn't. That was your only child. I know you had a lot of miscarriages, and that must have been very difficult.
Yes. Yeah, it was. It was. Again, it's that feeling of you grieve and you move forward.
Yeah.
And of course, some of those were the same soul.
Okay.
So it's not like it's all, some of them were the same soul, but she says, when I got back over here, I realized that this was part of the plan this time. I was able to connect with those souls that I carried. I remembered that it was the plan. So this was okay for what it was supposed to be this time.
Well, was it a contract that your adopted daughter had to have some trouble?
Yes.
So why?
Yeah, yes, that soul was always going to. Oh no. Sorry, my earbuds just started talking to me.
Oh boy, what's it
My
saying?
headphones. They
Uh-oh.
said something about close the Alexa app and try again. I don't have the Alexa app.
That's
Like,
weird. Eric, are you messing with
yes,
her?
yes. That's why honestly I hate using electronic earbuds because I usually use the wired ones because
Yeah.
they don't get messed with.
Yeah.
So yes, this soul, they had the contract to come in before that they would be mother daughter.
Okay.
And this soul was always going to come in with mental health issues, struggles, challenges. Mental health and addiction feel the same to me
Oh yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
and I definitely have that kind of energy.
Vibe from her. Yeah. Did you love her?
Yes.
Okay. Now this person says, I am an adoptee and an adoptive parent. I know your only child was adopted, and I was wondering if you had anything to say about adoption and if you are ever around your daughter. Also, how does adoption translate to the spirit world? Example, if both the birth parent and the adoptive parents pass on. So they're the birth patent.
So
I don't know.
I will personally chime in here because I have done many readings where
Oh, good.
So for me, I can only speak for myself. Like adoption, step relationships do not always translate back from the other side.
Okay.
Sometimes if I'm working with somebody who was adopted and their adoptive family and their biological family are over there,
Yeah.
it can get murky because it's like, okay, I've got a bunch of people coming in
Oh, yeah.
claiming
Really.
to be family. So it doesn't translate for me anyways from the other side, step, adopted, biological, it doesn't feel different. So if somebody was raised by their grandmother, the grandmother might come in feeling like the mom to me
Oh,
because
yeah.
they were
Sure.
they
Yeah.
were the one
Yeah.
that raised you. And that's like it's a lot of times it's in the contract. Like if
Yeah.
you're not always, but if you're going to be adopted or something like that, a lot of times that's contracted before you come in, that these biological parents will bring me in and this set of people is going to raise me.
Okay.
So it's, yeah.
So
Yes.
Barbara
And
Walters, what do you think about adoption though?
it's just, I mean, she just says, you just love your family no matter how they
And
came
his
to you
family, yes.
or how you got to them.
Do you hang around or visit your daughter at all?
Yes.
And are you
Yes.
trying
I
to
mean,
help
there's definitely yes, she is, but there's definitely unfinished
her? Oh, yeah.
stuff there for sure. But I will say she's making me feel like the two of them did the best they could, her and her daughter, with the circumstances in the time that they had.
All right. Who was the most inspirational person or people you've met on your Earth walk?
Um,
I'm getting
so
Nelson
there are
Mandela for some reason. I don't know.
yes, so
But,
there are some people who aren't necessarily famous,
oh
friends,
yeah,
family
sure.
who were
Yeah, right.
that sort of thing. But yes, some of the more like you're mentioning Nelson Mandela, some of the more like I'm sorry, this is where I struggle with names. Like the people who kept their cool and their consistency in the interviews, people that and I wish I could give you names. I wish
That's
I could.
okay. Just the type of
But
person's good enough.
the people who didn't deviate, who didn't change,
Oh yeah.
that sort of thing, because I gotta say she was pretty consistent. She
Yeah.
was who she was. She was real consistent, and that she appreciated from others.
Okay. Like
Don't just
John
jump to the
Wayne.
others.
I bet he was someone like that. And Ronald
Yes.
Reagan probably too, right?
Yeah, when you had mentioned Ronald Reagan before, I when you were listing presidents and I said Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan, I felt an absolute like respect for, but there was the consistency, she said. So even if she didn't like on a personal basis what you stood for, she respected people who remained consistent because again,
Yeah.
that's how she was. She
Principle.
was who she was. She wasn't
Right.
going to say something she truly didn't believe
Oh
in
yeah.
just to say it.
Right. Okay. Can you talk about another life that influenced your lifetime as Barbara Walters?
So she's actually she showed me two things, and I actually like to work with Erik for whatever reason. Erik with past lives with me is really good. She had one where she was actually orphaned. Okay, so it plays into why she adopted this time around.
Oh.
So there's a connection there with that, but she also had a life where this is kind of, I think, like way back when where they go town to town with the stages and perform.
Oh, okay. Like
There,
traveling
there was
gypsies, kind of
like well,
troubadours,
kind of, but more like, if you're performing Hamlet on stage, or like
Okay.
something like this, where you go town to town.
Yeah,
Gypsy's not exactly right, but traveling like that. And
like
of course,
traveling troubadours or something. I don't even know what that is.
yeah,
Yeah,
something like that. So
a traveling show.
she had been front and center as a performer in another life prior to this one. She says not anybody that you'd be able to look up that was
Okay.
famous. This is certainly her most notable lifetime as far as fame goes.
All right. Do you want to come back?
Yeah, she kind of laughed and she said, "Actually, yeah, I'm a bit of a glutton for punishment." She's
Oh
kind of
boy.
like making a joke. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So she says, "I probably will eventually." Yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, what do you want to come back doing? I mean, even if it's a general category.
Quieter life. Quieter life.
Sign me up for that one too.
Yes. Yes. Something quieter, something
Okay.
not out in front of everybody. Although there is the potential that there'll be something like journaling or some sort of writing or something
Okay.
in it, but not to the extent.
Male or female? Oh, sorry.
My earbuds just talked again. What did you say? Sorry.
Male or female? That's weird.
Yes, it is super weird. I'm not touching anything. I don't know why it's doing it, but whatever. She says she likes to alternate, or she likes to have both. Some souls feel more like feminine to me or more masculine to me. I would say she's probably about 50-50, 40-60 as far as male, female.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she's not really sure yet. She's not, it's just sort of like out there as an idea for her.
Okay.
But not soon.
What are you doing on that side?
Right now, she says still just sort of
licking your wounds. So
just kind of like it was a busy life. It was busy. So still just sort of catching up with souls over here, souls over there. Not a whole lot of like work related stuff, so to speak.
Erik, do you want to ask anything at all?
Just I've been so quiet.
I know.
No, he doesn't have any questions specifically for her. No.
Okay, I'll ask one last question. Can you give us, Barbara Walters, something that not very many people know? Maybe something quirky and fun.
She's talking about food. I don't know what she's talking about, but she's
Erik, does she have any food fetishes?
I feel like there's like some weird food stuff, or food she really liked or didn't like, or did weird food things. I don't know if anybody knows what she's talking about, but there was definitely some food related stuff. I feel like she really liked food, but I don't know. I don't know what this is about food.
Okay, that's fine. That would be hard. All right. So you were 93 when you died in your home in Manhattan, and your last words were "no regrets. I had a great life." That's nice.
Oh,
and those words are at your gravestone.
I will tell you, I did not know this. Just so you know, I had no idea. But she also wants to point out that even though she was 93, she never looked a day over like 75. I don't know if that's true either.
Good. Awesome.
I have no idea if that's true, but
I bet so. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Yes.
And you guys, don't forget, follow me on TikTok so you're notified about my lives when they come up. They should be fun. Hopefully, I've never done it before, so I'll see if it's a disaster or not. Thank you, Jennifer. You guys find out about her in the description box. The links are there. And Erik, I love you.
Says I love you too. And then he sort of tipped a hat. I don't know why, but he tips a hat to you.
Thank you, Miss Walters. I really appreciate that. I have so much respect and love for you. Thank you.
Yes, she says anytime, anytime. This was fun.
Okay, thank you. Bye.